Hey, real quick, before we jump into today's episode, for years, I have been helping people with little to no psychedelic experience make the most of your ketamine journeys, especially those of you with anxiety. And while the FDA says that ketamine is least effective for anxiety, my clients see way better results because my hypnotherapy background helps you go beyond what ketamine alone can do. If you want to hear more about that work, check out episode 25, Ketamine and Anxiety. Every week, people reach out and ask me, how do I make sure that ketamine works for me? And what does it mean to trust the process? And every week, my answer is the same. It's in the preparation. If you want to feel safe, confident, and ready for your ketamine journey, following a preparation protocol is the best way to do that. Now, one-on-one sessions with me cost hundreds of dollars, and my calendar is filling up fast. That is why I've created a 3-part live training where I will walk you through everything you need to know so that you can approach your ketamine journey with clarity, confidence, and yes, trust in the process. We begin on March 3rd, and I would love to see you in this beta round. Share this with a friend, a colleague, a family member, someone else that you know that's going into ketamine for their first time so that we can all do this together as a group. The link is in the show notes for you to have and to share. And thanks for listening. And let's dive into today's episode. Hey there, and welcome to Ketamine Connections. I'm so excited you're here. Maybe you have heard about the incredible healing power of ketamine on a podcast, in a tweet, or even from your cousin's friend who's tried it. Whether you're thinking about this innovative approach for yourself, a loved one, or just curious to learn more about its transformative potential, you probably have a lot of questions. This show is all about exploring that potential by diving into topics like the subconscious mind, sharing amazing client transformation stories, and answering the most common questions I've received while helping hundreds of clients explore and transform their subconscious minds. Just like any good psychedelic journey, our episodes are designed to open your mind, spark your curiosity, and expand your understanding of what's possible. I'm your host, Anna Kristal, aka your ketamine coach, and I'm thrilled to dive in and get curious with you. Let's get started. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Ketamine Connections podcast. My name is Anna Kristal. I'm so happy that you're here today. Today's episode is called 3 Common Mistakes in Ketamine Therapy and How to Avoid Them. It's inspired by questions from you, our listeners. I absolutely adore, appreciate, love how engaged this community is, how we're growing. You guys ask the best questions like, excuse me, how do I make sure ketamine works for me? How do I even know it's working? What does it mean to trust the process? Like, it shows me that you guys are paying attention to the stuff that's out in the world. And I'm so happy that you found us here so that we can dive into these topics a little bit more and really, really suss them out for you, because these are things that I hear every week. I'm so grateful that you bring them up because it just really shows how much you care about doing this the right way. And I'm so happy that we have this podcast as a resource for you to dive even deeper into these topics. So today's episode is for those of you who are feeling excited about ketamine, but also maybe a little bit nervous or a lot nervous, wondering, how do you prepare, or how do you stop the overthinking? How do you let go of every detail, the planning? How many things can you possibly find out there? Oh my gosh, there's so much, but there's also so little. If you've been over researching, if you've been over planning, or really just like stuck in anxiety loops, wondering what to expect, please know that this is one of the most common questions that I get. You are absolutely not alone, and you're exactly who this episode is for. So welcome. And those of you who love to nerd out, right? If you're here for like, what's the science of ketamine? Just know that I've already done an episode on that. That's episode 24. And that's all about the science of ketamine and why and how the ketamine changes the brain in that way. It's a really great resource to dive into if you're here for the more of the scientific stuff. But if you're here for the more quantitative stuff, you're in the right place. Okay, so ketamine therapy has exploded in popularity. And let's be real, it's for a good reason. It's one of the fastest acting treatments for depression, PTSD, chronic pain, and absolutely anxiety. It works differently from traditional medications. It promotes neuroplasticity and it helps the brain form new connections, which is why it's so important to prepare for ketamine, because it's not like anything that you've ever tried before. It couldn't possibly be something you've tried before, because everything you've tried before hasn't worked, and ketamine absolutely works. So unlike antidepressants that can take, a while to kick in, sometimes weeks, it takes a long time. I've met with clients that it takes months to work out the right dosage and things like that. Ketamine can start working just within a few hours. Honestly, within that first session, it has been shown to really help people. And if not in that first session, within days, it really, really kickstarts the progress and the process that you're looking for, which if you're not prepared for that, can be really jarring, especially if you're used to going from medication to medication, trying all the things that haven't worked. That can be really disorienting. I'm going to use an example. I'm going to use a client name throughout this episode. Her name is Caitlin. That's not her real name, just so we're clear. But, Caitlin is someone who came to me, to ketamine, who has tried so many multiple therapies for a long time, for many years. I think, but at the time that we met, it was somewhere between 12 and 15 years of like switching medications, trying different therapists and things like that. And she felt stuck. She felt stuck in anxious thoughts. She felt stuck in these looping thoughts. And ketamine for her really represented hope. And if that is your story, if that's the kind of journey that you're on, that you've tried so many different things, I want to be really clear that your hope is precious. Your hope is something that is hard to muster up, right? It's something like, oh, I mustered up all this hope, and then like that hope came crashing down. And then I mustered up more hope, and that hope came crashing down. And if that's something that you've been on, if you've been on that merry-go-round for years and years, or even months and months, honestly, even days, I just like have so much empathy and compassion, and ketamine represents hope, and the hope is really there. Real tangible hope exists with ketamine therapy. And for those of you that are here for that hope, I want to just really stress the importance of this episode so that you can get the most out of your hope, the most out of ketamine, and really move forward in a new way, in a way that breaks patterns and breaks conditioning. Because here's the thing, that hope is best realized when you're properly prepared. And that's exactly why I'm here today with this episode. It's an episode that is really near and dear to my heart because it represents the most important parts of ketamine therapy that go beyond just the session alone. I really want to help you avoid common pitfalls that I've seen over the past 4 years of helping people in this way so that you can make the most of your experience, you can make the most out of ketamine, and you can really, really get the most out of the hope that you are conjuring up for this therapy. All right, we're going to dive in just a moment. And before we do, I just want to say, you guys are reaching out, you're sending fan mail, you're sending notes and things like that. I absolutely love it. I love receiving your questions. Please keep them coming. Here's the thing. If you send fan mail, I cannot respond to that. If you go to any of the links in the show notes that take you to my website, annakristal.com, go to any of the forums, get my email and email me. That is how you're going to get a response from me. I cannot answer fan mail. I don't have a response ability on that. I can only like receive your notes and say, oh, thank you so much. I love your notes. And then if there's a question in there, I'm like, oh gosh, I need to get this person this answer because I know how important your questions are and I really value them and appreciate them. So if you have a question that you would like answered, please reach out through email. If you're just saying hi, hello, love the show, fan mail is great. All right, let's get into it. I want to make sure that you're fully prepared for your journey. So let's talk about the first common mistake people make and how you can avoid it. So what is the first mistake? Skipping mental preparation. It's easy to think that you can just show up and let the medicine do the work, but ketamine amplifies what already is inside of you. So if you come in with a swirl of anxiety, no clear direction, and that's what gets amplified, like, ouch, that's going to be a difficult experience. One of the main reasons people don't know about this step is because most clinics don't know about it either, and they don't offer it up. But when I work with clients to provide this guidance, it's like turning on a light in a dark room, one where you've been stumbling around, bumping into furniture, feeling disoriented, and second guessing every single step you take. You're just like in this like mega darkness. And then you know that feeling when you're searching for something in the dark, heart racing, like holding your breath, afraid you're going to trip over something or run into something painful, or like, something's going to jump out at you. And then, like, wow, click, the light comes on. That moment of relief, everything feels clearer, less scary, and you can finally see where you're going. That moment of relief is exactly like releasing a breath that you didn't know you'd been holding. And again, that client, Caitlin, that I'm going to reference throughout the episode, she described it so perfectly when she said, I was so tired of overthinking and trying to figure it out on my own. I just wanted someone to show me the way. And that's what this preparation offers, an immediate sense of calm, of clarity, and direction that transforms the entire experience. Your subconscious mind runs the show when you go into ketamine therapy. So showing up without mental preparation is like getting on a roller coaster blindfolded. Sure, you might have a good ride, but wouldn't you rather like know where you're headed? Wouldn't you rather have that like foresight? I know I would. And the number one way to do that is setting an intention, because that's what helps anchor you in. In fact, setting an intention is the number one rule of psychedelic journeys. But here's the thing, most people don't know how to do this correctly. I didn't know how to do this correctly. This is exactly why I do this work now. I often hear intentions like, oh, I'm just going to stay open to whatever shows up, or I'm going in with an open mind and an open heart. And while I like so honor the well intentioned like openness underneath that, they're too open. These types of affirmations, intentions, mantras, whatever you want to call them, they're too open, and they're not going to actually provide real guidance. I want you to think of your intention like your GPS for your journey. If you don't program it, you might get somewhere, right? You just like start driving the car, you'll get somewhere. But it could be a confusing ride. It might be a winding road, and it might leave you feeling lost, questioning everything that's going on. This is a really common experience that I know proper preparation and proper intention setting avoids, surpasses, overrides, etc. A clear intention is not only the best way to guide your experience, but it also is the best way to speak directly to your subconscious mind. It helps you navigate with purpose and clarity, and it's really as important, if not more important, than the ketamine itself. Caitlin's intention for her first ketamine session was, I'm here to trust the process. And that small, clear intention acted like a compass. It shifted everything for her, and it really helped her feel grounded throughout her journey. And again, it set that compass, and we work through different ways of helping her navigate, right? Like where she was to where she was going, using the intention as the vehicle, as the transportation mechanism to get there. So proper preparation, proper intention setting, and speaking to the subconscious mind are so epically important. I really cannot stress that enough. All right, let's get into mistake number 2. So mistake number 2 is ignoring what you consume. And I'm not just talking about like what you ingest, like food wise, but it's also what you ingest mentally. So ketamine primarily works with the mind. So a lot of people kind of ignore this step of preparing the body, preparing other parts of the mind, and the environment. And all of those elements play a really crucial and essential role in shaping the experience for you. If you don't know, I want you to know that the body keeps the score. It's a famous book. Go look it up. Your issues are in your tissues. And that means that everything that you've been through, all of the stress, the trauma, the uncertainty, the doubt, it gets stored in your body. So if your body is holding tension or unprocessed emotions or exhaustion or stress, it can shape the way your ketamine journey is for you in ways that could surprise you. So think of it this way: your body is the container for the journey. If the container is shaky, the ride is also going to be shaky. If the container is, like a cracked mug, no matter how good what you're putting inside that mug is, it's not going to hold up without the proper support, without the proper container. And is what your physical vessel is. If you go into ketamine with tension or poor sleep, or, check out the episode right before this where we're talking about how you arrive and whether you have a trip setter. And there's really good advice in there on like avoiding people that are anxious or cause you anxiety. If you show up to ketamine in this poorly prepared way, you are so much more likely to feel scattered, to feel nauseous, to feel disconnected, to feel nervous, to end up in a not great place. And that is why caring for your body before a session is just as important as preparing your mind. And again, I want to emphasize that consumption is not just about what you eat or drink. It's also about what you allow into your mind, right? In the days and the hours leading up to your ketamine sessions, you want to be mindful of the media that you consume, the conversations you have, the information you take in. Watching the news, scrolling through social media, listening to stressful stories absolutely has an effect on your ketamine journey. It is planting seeds in your subconscious mind that will show up when they are amplified, and ketamine might be that amplifier. So you want to be really careful, right? Ketamine amplifies whatever is already there. So if you flood your mind with negativity or fear-based content before your ketamine journeys, you're risking bringing that energy, bringing that fear, bringing that uncertainty into your experience. Cleansing what you consume mentally is just as crucial as physical preparation, just as crucial as setting an intention, just as crucial as anything else, because your mind is so precious and so malleable, right? That neuroplasticity is what ketamine makes use of. And it's something that you want to really protect in terms of preparation. It's like okay, imagine a clear canvas, right? The cleaner the surface of this canvas, the more vibrant the colors show up and the colors of your journey can be. So you want to give yourself space from overstimulating inputs, and instead of, taking in media that is intense or upsetting, nourish your mind with calming music or inspirational talks or quiet time in nature. Those are things that create a clear channel for your intention and the medicine to come through, allowing you to receive what you need without the interference of the mental clutter that some of the other stuff creates. Caitlin shared that before working with me, she hadn't even considered how her environment or media consumption could affect her sessions. She figured that, ketamine works on the mind. It's going to do all the work for me. I don't really need to prepare anything. And I don't really need to worry about all this other stuff. But that shifted pretty quickly for her, because she really did recognize how everything that she exposed to herself to before going into ketamine really played a role and really influenced her thoughts and the journey that she had. Simple changes like staying hydrated, eating a light meal, avoiding stimulants like caffeine, limiting negative media, negative people, negative thoughts. All of these things really make a huge difference. It's just really, really important. Your body and mind set the tone for how you receive the medicine. Gentle, Movement is really great. Maybe taking a short walk, maybe getting out into nature, whether you're walking or sitting, light stretching. All of this can really release the nervous energy, calm your mind, prepare you to be more present. And even just like 5 minutes of slow breathing, these are all things that I teach, can help you drop in more fully to feel more present and to feel more grounded and ready to receive the journey. I know that when you're struggling with big things like depression, anxiety, PTSD, these small adjustments might seem insignificant or so minor, but they compound really quickly. I can't stress that enough. I've seen it time and time again with clients that when you prioritize your physical and mental consumption, your sessions will really quickly become lighter, become more effective, become just better. And ketamine is expensive. So these are small shifts that you can make to really protect the investment that you're making to make the most of these journeys. And I just really want you to remember that preparation is not just about mindset, even though mindset is, the number one rule of psychedelic use. Preparation is also about creating a really supportive environment for your whole self. Okay, this brings us to mistake number 3. And mistake number 3 is the biggest mistake I see, and that is skipping integration. Ketamine can provide profound insights, but those light bulb moments don't automatically translate into lasting change, right? It's not about the epiphanies. It's about the small steps that you take towards realizing those epiphanies. You have to work with them. I've heard this time and time again from clients after their first session that they feel lighter, that they feel better, that they feel really clear. And then they immediately are like, okay, but what do I do with this, right? What do I do with the thoughts and the emotions that surfaced? And that level of uncertainty can compound as well, because sometimes when you've been dealing with a dense mental state, that brings a lot of people to ketamine, like depression, anxiety, and PTSD. And then you have a really quick lifting of that density, right? And you feel lighter, you feel better, you feel more clear. And then, oh my gosh, what if this goes away, right? Like how do I make those insights, this feeling, how do I make all of that stick? How do I make this part of my everyday life and not just something I visit when I go to ketamine? And that is where integration comes in. It's common for the fear to seep in because that experience, again, is like so fresh. It's so new. It's like what you've been searching and hoping for and wishing for so long. And then it's there. And then it's just like, it's like the expansion. And then immediately the contraction of like, oh my God, is this going to last? How do I make it last? Is it possible? Like, do I have to do this every day now to feel like this? And that is just a sign that there's an unfamiliar sense of relief that I just want to legitimize how scary that can be, right? Because again, that hope that you've been mustering, that's been on a roller coaster of like high highs and low lows, that hope that you've been riding is all of a sudden like coming real. And then it's just like, oh my God, is this going to last? Is this real? And that's where integration comes in. Integration provides the structure and the tools so that you can hold on to these positive shifts, so that you can ground them into your daily life, so that you're, not feeling like this clarity is fleeting because you have a plan for how to bring this into your experience. Integration, honestly, is where the real magic happens. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for it. That's why, I've created everything that I've created around it, because integration is the magic where you get to bring this in, right? I've spoken about this in other episodes. To integrate is to make whole, to make it a